Hey everyone, and welcome to NBA Countdown Stay Home Edition. The gang is here. We got Jalen Rose and we got Uncle P.
What up,
How are
Joe?
we feeling? How are we feeling?
Doing great. Restrictions are steadily loosening. People are
Ooh.
out and about a lot more, going to restaurants. What you doing on the West Coast, P?
Man, I went to Mastro's already. I just
Oh.
just like I just like the fact I could go somewhere and sit down and eat. That's it. That's all I want to do anyway.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. We've been doing that in Atlanta for
About 2 months.
We never stopped.
Did y'all ever stop?
No, not really too much. I just didn't want to freak y'all out too much by telling you that. We do have a lot to celebrate, though, on today's countdown, starting with the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy graduation. J. Rose, I want to say congratulations, but I want to give some stats first because you have a 94% graduation rate. 100% of your graduates are accepted into colleges or post-secondary schools, and that's really dope, cool. And I just want to know how you feel when something so positive is happening in the midst of so much kind of darkness and everything that we're dealing with right now.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the acknowledgement. And just being a professional to talk about sports on multiple shows all day, it never really comes up sometime, and I feel bad because our graduates worked so very hard, Maria, and we graduated 80 seniors this year. We've graduated around 450 seniors overall. We've graduated 12 scholars from college. We oversee and influence possibly 1,000 kids between 9th and 5th year in college. This is our 9th year, and I'm really fortunate that I have an amazing board, a terrific staff, parents that believed in the vision, students that believe in the vision. And this is the charity to make it to the hood. Right now, there's going to be a lot of people talking about what they want to do to try to influence our experience on earth. And my thing that I champion, I'm not a Paul Pierce finals MVP type champion. So I am in education. That's the thing that I took on. And I realized that inner city kids get less but for public education, it's suburban kids. So what we do is called bridging the education gap. I want all of these scholars to be able to compete in the same college classroom and compete for the same job or career. So that's what we're trying to do, and I appreciate the love.
Man, that's awesome, dude. I mean, I don't think we talk about that enough, Jay. Seriously, a lot of this, I think there should be a special that focuses towards a lot of the Black athletes, charities, and what they do. A lot of it is just like a one-liner, gets swept under the rug. But we talk about, LeBron James' school, and you've been doing this for 9 years. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, especially for kids in the neighborhood who in the neighborhood schools, the education isn't as great, and in saying that, I was a victim of it by the time I got to Kansas because my first semester, I was sporting a 0.8 GPA.
Wow. Real. It's real. It's a culture shock.
Like first semester, and then I got put on probation, but I ended up being a 3-point student at the end.
I think what was cool too, J. Rose, and I watched, some of the video and seeing the kids with their like graduation sign, and you could see, okay, so they're going to Michigan State and they're going to Wayne State, and like them smiling so big and being excited about kind of that next step. And I really wonder sometimes like where they would be without this opportunity. And that's what we are constantly talking about in the Black community. It's a lack of opportunities. It's not that there's a lack of talent or intellect. And I feel like that's what you're bringing. And I know that you're noticing that in all of the kids that you're getting a chance to be around.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. There's so many people that feel like it's our opportunity to mobilize. I felt like this for so very long and lived it in college and thought about it in high school and was exposed to it by some of my favorite athletes. It was just a generation that I grew up in. And so I was like, how can I influence the most but get the least resistance? I can't front. And I was like, via education, because if I'm trying to educate the people in my neighborhood, nobody can fight it. They're not going to help me, but they're not going to fight it. At least they can't and not look crazy. And so now that we've had the results that we've had, remember, when we get 14 to 22 in America and we look like each other, you are Breonna Taylor. We are George Floyd. We ain't cute and cuddly no more by America. Like when we in third grade, it's like small puppies. And then when we get older, we start to become a menace to society in a lot of people's vision. So that's the young people that I wanted to influence and show them that you can be a change agent. And they're working really hard. And I'm grateful that you guys gave the love and the acknowledgement. And they follow the show. They love both of you guys. And they'll be proud that you guys know who they are, saw their clips, and giving them love.
Awesome.
Well, congratulations, yes, to all those graduates. We are so proud of you. We're excited about your next steps, and J. Rose is going to keep us up to date on what his awesome kids are doing. So we'll be following you just as much as you follow us. Today is basically, I feel like it's Feel Good Friday because we get to talk about something else that's kind of going well in the community, or an initiative that I know is close to your heart, J. Rose, and obviously you, Uncle P, because we all come from the same communities. But More Than a Vote, a nonprofit started by LeBron James. And really it's about energizing the Black vote, but it sounds like it's about making sure they're registered, African Americans are registered, but also exposing voter suppression, which is oh so critical. And we've even seen some issues here in Atlanta with voter suppression, or issues with, Southwest Atlanta actually being able to cast the votes. And you only see that happening in Black communities. So I just want to know how your involvement came about in it, and just tell us more so we can all understand how we can be involved in our communities as well.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to pass the mic because I appreciate you guys acknowledging the school. And I am a part of LeBron's team. Big shout to him. Big shout to Mav. Big shout to Adam, who reached out to so many people that were on the call. Draymond Green, Udonis Haslam, Skylar Diggins. People that just, it's not political. We just want to make sure that Black and brown people aren't intimidated to vote. That's it. In 2008, Barack Obama was our superhero, and he deserved to get us out and vote. And in 2012, we did too. But in 2016, we did not. In 2020, we must. That's all it's about. So I'll come to you first, Maria, because you're in Georgia, and we all saw the footage of how they created barriers for Black and brown people in inner cities to vote. These social distancing lines that were miles and miles long that people stood in and they got up to the ballot and it didn't work, or the elderly people working that really didn't know how to use the technology. So I would like to sit back and learn from you, because you're in the field and you're up close and personal. What did you see in here? And that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Sure, I know that. So I went and did early voting, I believe on Friday, and it took me 4 hours, and I did it in the suburbs. I did it in Alpharetta. But I was talking to my friend he's a lawyer from Atlanta and actually used to work at Morehouse. And he says the issues that you usually run into in the actual community, in the city, is that you are given an older population that's going to be your volunteers that are working at these voter precincts. And they're not given all of the instructions until, let's say, an hour before voting actually opens and starts. So they don't know how they're going to be able to fix something if it goes wrong. Some ballots might not be cast properly, and they might run into issues that just can't be rectified. And oh, by the way, a lot of them are, I think the average age is like 70. So they're in their we're dealing with elderly people trying to help. But what I thought was interesting was when I was in the suburbs, it was a much younger group of Black people that were working there. And so the question is, how do we galvanize and get all that energy and that talent back into the voter precincts that are in Southwest Atlanta or some of the marginalized communities? Because that's something that I think that they're running into right now. And then you attach to that what we're dealing with COVID and the social distancing and the lines that we're seeing there. And it's just, it's exploding into a massively bad problem. And so I'm really thankful for the More Than a Vote initiative, because I think Atlanta is one of the cities that could really benefit from some exposure, honestly, and someone trying to step in and figure out what's wrong and see if it can get rectified before the presidential election.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great initiative. I applaud Jalen, LeBron, especially for this, because a lot of the times, Black people as a whole just don't vote or even have the know-how. And I think, more importantly, this year is more important than ever. I even saw Snoop Dogg the other day say he's going to go out and vote. Yeah. Because he's never voted in his entire life.
Wow, really? Yeah. That's like me hearing him saying he was going to stop smoking.
A guy
Apocalypse.
Like to finally get up and go out there with such a major influence, in hip hop and in the Black community. I think that's big, especially in these times right now. Mm-hmm. And hopefully I can do something in my city of Inglewood. I think, and by hearing this, what I plan on doing is getting with the mayor, who I have a great relationship with, and seeing if there's something I can do in my city, to help, Black people come out and vote.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a Hall of Famer and being rich, P. Thank you for using your voice. We need you. We appreciate that. Thank you. You're a champion. You walk in there. Make sure you wear your ring that day. We're not playing around.
You are an uncut gem, Uncle P. We appreciate you. Okay, let's get to the basketball court just a little bit. Obviously, those are great initiatives that are happening, but an article came out where Matt Barnes was saying that he has spoken to some players, and he's not going to mention names, but from the Lakers and the Clippers, that are apprehensive about potentially returning to play with everything that's kind of going on right now, the uncertain times. We've got COVID, and obviously you're going down to a bubble and you might not be able to leave for a few months. So I think it's interesting. We are expecting a lot of these NBA players, and we've never thought about the possibility that some might just be like, no, I'm good. You know what I mean? Because we've been screaming for play to start again. So Uncle P, we can start with you, but what would be your reaction to hearing someone be like, I'm apprehensive. Like, I don't even really know if I want to go and try to compete for a championship this year.
You know what? I think for a lot of the players, I was listening to what Carmelo said, that, they don't have all the information. There's a lot of uncertainty going into the bubble. And then, the risk may outweigh the reward. You're talking about guys who are leaving their families for possibly 2 to 3 months. And then what if something happens when you're in this bubble to your family? There's just a lot of question marks going into this. But at the same time, I think, with the NBA, in creating this bubble, there's going to be a lot of precautions. There's going to be, testing every day. It could end up being one of the safest places to be. I mean, it depends on, how they go about, the protocol and everything on the testing every day, and the amount of people they allow in or out each and every day. Yeah, so there are always going to be some question marks. But at the end of the day, let me tell you this. At this point of the season, a lot of NBA players social distance anyway before, the virus, before this pandemic. I remember just going into like the last month or two of the season where I was like, okay, I'm not going out. It's just to the practice, to the game, and to my house. So that wouldn't bother me being put in this bubble and maybe not seeing my family. But you're gonna be in a situation to where you're gonna be around some of your NBA brothers and NBA friends and people that you can socialize with. So it might not be that bad after all.
I'm not surprised that NBA players at this point will be somewhat hesitant to go into a bubble, and here's why. We treat them like essential workers, and they're not. When you go to the supermarket, they're not there working because they're just happy to make sure you get your groceries. They're trying to make sure their families can eat. These dudes is millionaires. They ain't trying to necessarily just go to Orlando for 6 or 7 weeks, not see their families, and know that they're not on a contending team. So imagine if you DeMar DeRozan, okay? And by the way, I'm just using him as an example, okay? I don't want media to run with this. I'm just using him as an example. If I was DeMar DeRozan, how about that? If I was DeMar DeRozan, I'm a seasoned vet. I average 25 every year. LaMarcus Aldridge ain't playing. I'm running with the Spurs. Their expectation is championship or bust, and we ain't getting that this year. I got a family. Why am I flying to Orlando for a month to play 8 more games to just be practice for the Lakers, the Clippers, and the other teams that's really contending? I ain't excited about that. So if y'all gonna pay me and I don't have to go, I think I might get the check, Maria.
Straight up,
I have to do that.
Straight up.
Oh, but you can never go wrong with getting a check if we're all being honest. Like if these are our two options, that's what going with that is just fine if we're being honest. You know what I had a question about though, for real? Do we really expect a rookie and a vet to act the same way in the bubble? Like, are we expecting these young guys to go there and just be by themselves and like not invite anyone to come hang out with them? And that's a personal question for me to you. If Jalen Rose or Uncle P was a rookie and I was like, all right, y'all, it's your first year in the NBA, I'm gonna need you to go and spend 8 weeks in a bubble by yourself.
Are
you gonna pay attention to the protocols?
That's going to be hard to do. I mean, I think they're going to have security on, and it'll be hard to get in and out, probably. Mm-hmm. That'll be difficult, especially like Jalen said. If you're out there, you're going there to play 8 games, you don't really have a shot at winning. You might make the playoffs or you might not. For a month or two to be without my friends and family, I'll have some like doubt in there, but at the same time, they probably been sitting at home all this time and want something to do too. As a young player, I'm thinking as a rookie, like, why not? Why not go here for a month, be around some of my peers, play some hoop? I've been sitting in the house all this time anyway, so for some it could be an easy decision.
I'm gonna think like a rookie, not necessarily proud of this, but I can work really hard and do drills and be in shape and eat good during the day, but I'm going hard at night. And I'm gonna rinse and repeat and continue to do it. And so there has to be guys with millions of dollars. It's like, we about to get multiple rooms. We get multiple rooms. That's just how this is going down. And I know that you want to have security, you want to legislate who at the pool and who at the bar, but they got too much money. Like, who wants to be by themselves for 6 or 7 weeks at any profession? You're not seeing your family, you're not seeing your kids. Like, even that's like being a boxer. Like, they don't, basketball players don't act like boxers before games and matches. I promise y'all. Their preparation is way different. So I agree. This is going to be something that, like Paul said, if I wasn't on a great team and I could still get my check, y'all can go ahead. I'm good.
But what else you going to do, Jalen? You can't travel. You really is not a lot going on outside of everything that you're going to do out the bubble. You can pretty much do in the bubble for the most part. I mean, maybe.
Uncle P, I think you're being naive.
No. Maybe there won't be
naive.
no clubs and no girls, but there's no clubs in the bubble. I mean, clubs are opening up in LA. Guys want to hang out. It's summertime. It's getting hot. I don't know. I don't know. I'm split on it, actually. Like you said, you could do some stuff in that bubble that might not go.
But Maria, at least they're not drug testing. That makes me happy.
There we go.
You can't have your family, but you can pass a drug test if you need to.
You know what I wasn't expecting from this conversation? Uncle P being like, I think they'll all be good and just sit in their room.
He's so mature.
And if I was a rookie, I'm like, what happened? Who are you? What's that? What happened?
Dad.
I mean, I'm looking at this like a bubble. I mean, they're gonna be around each other. They're gonna be around each other, man. I'm saying, and the thing is, who is allowed to get in this bubble? Who could? I mean, is there gonna be people sneaking into the bubble? Is that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know all the protocol around this.
Okay.
You
gotta slight work.
Figure that some of these NBA players are gonna try to get something.
I'm proud of my brother. You see it, Korea?
He's really mature.
He got to be governor of California. Look at him.
He's trying to talk about voter rights right now. He does not have time to be messing with us and trying to figure out what rookies are doing in the bubble. I got you, Pete. We got you. We'll keep your name out of our mouths, okay? You stay mature. All right, y'all. That's all the time we have for today's NBA Countdown Stay Home edition. Y'all have a great weekend. Obviously, Uncle P is going to be doing better things than myself or Jalen because he's just more mature than us. But we'll see you next Tuesday.
I'm about to sit outside so I can have a bite.
So mature. Bye.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.